Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Strategy with Jason. I'm here at NADA 2025. We made it. We made it, right? And I have the A team of DealerOn. I have Erin, Tina, and Bill.
Well, you got the A and then the B team.
Oh, it's not even L. Guys, thanks so much for allowing us to come out and have a great chat with you guys. And I'm glad you made it. So, was there any white knuckling? How was the trip?
I think we were very fortunate. We most than others. I think about 90% of our crew made it.
Wow, that's
really
awesome.
To their efforts. I mean, planes, trains, and automobiles, of course, and various stories, caravanning with dealers, and everything in between. But really, just the desire and what they did to get here is impressive in itself. So we're really happy about it.
It is automotive, right? Like it's such an automotive thing to do. It's like, it's just like, and you're right. I've heard some great stories of just like people getting, I heard someone, a couple vans from Chicago, 15-hour drives, combination of dealers and vendors. And I'm like, that's just the automotive tenacity. Like, if I'm going to come, I'm going to come.
I'm trying not to tell anybody I had a direct from Seattle with a 40-minute delay. Yeah, no. Sorry, everyone.
Well, guys, look, I'm glad I had a chance to come have a chat with you. A couple things I kind of actually want to ask and just kind of deep dive into. I know there's going to be some cool features and stuff that you guys have launched, and I want to get into those. Bill, we've had the chance to kind of talk a little bit about the industry, and it's like, 2024 was an interesting year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I still think there are some things in 2025 that like we have to at least have a plan or a strategy around. And you have a few of those. I'd like to get into that.
I agree. I think that the really progressive dealers understand some of those challenges that are coming. You've got a used car inventory supply that's going to be a huge challenge for various different reasons. Some of those even including Carvana, CarMax, buying directly from the consumers. I think that's going to require some personalization from the dealer in terms of how they look at that, how they're marketing their own inventory. I think you've got interest rate concerns still, but I think there's one that's even further out later this year is when you start talking about the post-COVID pricing and the negative equity, and then you add in, interest rate increases on credit cards and the lack of down payment. So all of those things sound like a lot of challenge, which they are, but the automotive business is really great about coming around that. I think DealerOn, we've got some really great solutions that kind of pinpoint into that individual personalization, as well as some new partnerships that I think are going to be really key and pivotal to help dealers and support them.
And that's one thing, guys, I've always admired about you guys is that, the features and benefits and the new solutions that you guys have always kind of built or put out there have been with such a dealer-centric approach to it, knowing what is coming. I find too often, look, guys, my first website was dealer.com website in 2002. Like, at that point, it was a glorified brochure, we were still receiving leads via fax. But like, I don't think a lot of companies that take the same approach that you guys have. It's just like they build to what they think the dealer needs. You guys build really diving into what the dealer needs.
That's what's been so fun about joining the DealerOn team is it's dealer driven and it's data driven. Yeah. Those are the two big things, and we can move fast. The stuff that Tina's team builds, we get to talk about right away. With Signals, it's been out for about a year, but enhancements always coming. We've got For You recommendations.
Yeah, they're really amped up vehicle recommendations. You can see it right here. So we're taking all of that great content, what the shopper's doing on the website, and not only showing personalized ads and content, but we're actually recommending vehicles for them based on their browsing behavior. So it's just a really amped up experience.
Yeah, I want you to think Netflix, when you go in and or Amazon Prime or any of these great things where you're watching shows, the trends start to go, and then they start to serve up things that are personalized to you. It's that exact same thing, except in an automotive stance for inventory. It's huge.
So, guys, I literally had an experience that just recently, and I love the fact that you have a Silverado pulled up here because I just bought a Trail Boss like that. But I'll be honest with you, the dealership wasn't much of a help. And no, don't get me wrong. I know there's some great operators out there, but just go with me for a moment there. It's like, I call into the dealership, looking for something. And, if I couldn't provide them a stock number, I wasn't going to get an assistance in saying like, because like, I mean, there's like 7 different ways to build that truck. I didn't know that I couldn't get the round view camera on this trim, but I had to go to that trim. But if I got that, I also had to take this package. Like, it was too much, So, and I was amazed to find how dealers weren't leaning into that.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because so often when dealers are customizing their website, they're doing it for their salespeople. Who cares about a stock number? The salesperson who's taking the phone call.
Yes.
The customer sure doesn't. So that's the other way that we use data, is as we're recommending those proven practices, what you should have on your website.
Sure.
Everybody's going to tell you this is important. What's important? We tell you how to get it done, and what your website, what your SRP, what your VDP needs to have, and how critical that is. Some markets EV heavy. Now we've got an integration with Lyteflo, but I know you're excited about that.
Yeah, first partnership with them, and we just launched that here at the show. And
I know,
what's amazing
Ryan is just an amazing entrepreneur.
And with a great pedigree.
Yes.
But you look at Lyteflo as a product and the EV market, and the reality is most salespeople don't have a ton of knowledge, at least off the top of their head, on what's the range for this vehicle or that model, et cetera. And when you get with a Lyteflo and the integration with DealerOn, now it's right there at your fingertips on the website, being produced right to the consumer.
Well, it has that additional information that most VDPs don't have.
Exactly.
Like, so I'm an EV owner, so I can actually kind of go down this path. It's like, look, the dealership's website wasn't able to consistently tell me range, right? And it wouldn't give me range based on weather conditions either. It didn't tell me what kind of connectors it had. It sure in the heck didn't tell me like what type of charging stations I could have used. But I had to go to all kinds of other websites to find this information before I got to the dealership. So, yeah,
and look, some of that info is out there.
It is.
But the problem is, and what they solved with Lyteflo and the integration with DealerOn, is that is personalized to the individual region and state where that consumer lives. So, for instance, when you start talking about charging and the cost of electricity and what it takes to do that, that's vastly different from
100%.
Savannah, Georgia is from Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
And so the other regions that are out there and the products that do provide that, they're doing this on an average basis across the country, which that's a huge difference.
Yes.
Incentives. Tax
access.
credits down at the state and the local level.
Well, it's just a better shopping experience. Even going back to the shopping experience I had with my Silverado recently, right? At the end of it, there was really only 2 core features I was really looking for. That was my wife, and I have really loved the full 360 cameras. We had to have, I couldn't get into another car without a 360 camera, right? And I had to have leather. Like, you think that would be the case. No. Chevy's going to make you go through about 6 different levels and trims just to get these 2 features. And, I had to go find out all that information at home. You guys have built a way where I can just literally come here, say what I'm really interested in, and boom, there it is. Those are the vehicles that have those.
And if we don't have it, we give our dealers the option to order a vehicle. It's not going into an order bank. I think that was one of the recent things.
Yeah, we've had it for about a year, our build to order product, order a vehicle, and it allows a shopper to go in. If they're not finding what they're looking for on the dealer's site, on the dealer's lot, you can go in, select those packages, select your color, select leather, and it just sends a great lead to the dealer so that they can look to see, let me order this for that consumer, but not going directly to an order bank at all and doing it on their behalf. The dealer does need to approve it at first.
So it's a conversation, right?
Yeah.
And I like that. And this is me putting my dealer principal hat back on. That gives my team an opportunity to say, hey, look, this is what we got coming in. All right, that one's got a couple more features than what they're looking for, but does cover 90% of what they want.
Exactly.
Maybe ask them if that one that's coming in 2 weeks is a better suit than just
having to wait, a few months.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, look, I think that's another really, really key factor that, as a dealer, I am looking for in my website is that I want my website to generate meaningful conversations, not just leads. And I think the approach that you guys have taken to shopping yields to more of a meaningful conversation than just a lead, right? Would you say? Right?
Yeah, and I think we're really hitting more on engagement, having those meaningful engagements across your website. That's really been our focus for this past year and going into this year as well.
I think that leads into probably one of the bigger pieces, which is not industry, relevant news, but more of a consumer relevant and dealer relevant news, which is what we're doing with our DigAd and unifying the Synchro acquisition and being able to leverage that. And I think that's a huge piece for us.
Yeah, it's been been exciting. You know, I was with Synchro and joining the DealerOn team and seeing how just dedicated to dealers and working for a company that cares about dealers and wants to make sure. We've been talking about the website. We got to get the customer to your website first.
That's true.
And, you know, social is such a big part of that. So one of the first things that we started integrating was Social Suite, because we know with those AIA, with those ads on Facebook and Instagram, our Social Suite, when we deliver that lead to the landing page versus a dealer website, we see an 89% increase in lead submission.
But what I love about the Social Suite is that you guys don't take a one-size-fits-all approach like I would say majority of the marketing tech out there. I mean, you are audience specific in that approach.
Absolutely. We want that in-market shopper. We're not just showing that ad to everybody. And again, with personalization, it's how we approach everything. And with our dig ad, social is one part of it, but we have the whole cross-channel optimization. We're going to make sure we've got dealers on the right platform, showing up if it's Performance Max, VLAs. We've got you covered. But the most important piece, the technology is great, but you've got to have that strategist.
Yes.
So our team and the support that is there to help guide dealers on where that budget should go, that's what's really exciting. Again, as we integrate the team, I love saying I work for DealerOn. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite part about this, Nada. I got to tell you.
I think that's one thing also that gets lost a lot in the translations of these acquisitions, which is, you know, a lot of times you're buying technology, and what people forget is actually the people. Right? Yeah. That's what made the technology. And for us, it was like a treasure trove of talent of being able to you know, grab that and then unify the systems and taking kind of the best from each side, but most importantly, the experience of the people that were there and now are under the fold with us and have joined the DealerOn family. It's been a huge uplift.
And it's definitely something I've admired about you guys is that the strive to continually move forward to a complete solution, right? And I know this just as a dealer, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a partner in that complete solution. And that includes my website, and that includes the online experience, and that includes my marketing and the advisory that you're bringing to balance those two out. And then one step farther, I know we haven't mentioned it, but on market, I said it right?
On marketplace.
Yeah. So the cool thing is this is another thing I love about you guys, right? It's just like, if we don't have it, we'll integrate with it so that the dealer can have the complete solution.
Absolutely. But listen, every dealer's got their partners that they work with that are working and optimized for them. Yeah. We're not here to stop you. You know, we want to make it work on your website. I know you've been a big part of that.
Yeah, we also want to make it work seamlessly. I know when you're putting a lot of different partners and vendors on your site, the first thing to go is your site speed and core web vitals, and we are highly looking out for you and making sure that we are partnering with the best partners for your website, you know, approved programs and all of that. So this has been a great lift for us as well.
Like I said, it just I really appreciate, guys, that partner approach and that willingness to work with them, because that's one of the things that always frustrated me, guys, as a dealer, is that I buy into these amazing tech solutions and then come to find out that, you know, only 3 of maybe the 2, or some of them actually personally hated the other one. I don't know. It was dumb, right? You know, and I just really appreciate that willingness, guys.
Well, to end on that, I would tell you this, that with 7,000 dealers now, that's a really broad base, right? But what we've done, and a new innovation for us, is our dealer advisory board and the collaborations.
Oh, I like
and we're
that.
doing those on a quarterly basis and generally at the dealerships that are hosting those and bringing in the other dealers. So we're taking a lot of the word from what is our consumer and applying that into the new technology. And making sure that it's really customizable across the way. It's not one cookie cutter approach.
It makes you guys a really, really good partner. Hey, look, I know we're getting towards the tail end of our time, and for everybody out there watching, listening, we really appreciate taking the time to check this out. But, you know, where can a dealer go? How can they learn more? How can they maybe connect with you guys and just kind of continue some parts of this conversation?
Well, you have the smart one. So
you know, obviously DealerOn.com. Find us on LinkedIn. I mean, look one of us up. We'd love to chat with you, but we're finishing up strong at NADA, but we're in the stores. We're all over. Hey, Colleen and I are going to host a webinar next in February. We're excited. Google Analytics. That'll be the first one. I'm going to throw Tina into the mix in March. So you can find us everywhere, but DealerOn.com.
Awesome. Hey, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to jam with me today. This has been a lot of fun. For everybody out there watching and listening,